Hey, it's me, unapologetically T, and I've been sitting out here, man, sassy. She probably is only gonna give me like 20 minutes out here. Sometimes I have to take her in so I can sit out here longer. But the sun is out. The sun, I can't even. Let's see if I can do it. The sun is out. Come get you some. So. Let me make sure. All right. Sometimes my little afro be lopsided, but you know it's natural. It's mine. It's mine. That's why I be praying for God. Make my afro bigger, make my ass better, make my waist smaller, unbig my back. Oh no, I'm playful right now, but on a serious note, like, wanted to come and talk about oversharing. I wanted to talk about narcissism is not rare. Like, full-blown narcissists are not rare as we once were taught or thought. However, all of us do have narcissistic tendencies, and it is our job to heal those things. Literally, you can use anything in your life for the greater good if you do so choose to do so. That was a mouthful. But so I wanted to talk about narcissism is not rare. And when I say that, I'm not talking about just the tendencies. I'm talking about actual full-blown narcissistic people. Studies will show that it is rare. However, literally, I guess I'll just get into it. However, it is not a rare thing. I've done research and I've seen where it say 1 in 6 people are narcissists. I wouldn't call that rare. if you put me in a room with 100 people, and 1 out of 6 is literally narcissistic. Let's see the math. Let's pause. So that means like you'd have 17 people. So if I was in a room with 100 people, I would have 17 people in that room that has narcissism. And this is just from this study. I don't even believe that number to be correct, but this is just from studies. And I please, people say do your research, look at the data. Men lie, women lie, and I posted this on my social media. Men lie, women lie, and the numbers lie too when you're dealing with numbers in a fucked up, corrupted system ran by narcissistic people. Why would they want you to know how to spot them? Why would they want you to know how to do it? So literally, they would have you believe that there is a small population of narcissistic, full-blown narcissistic people. I don't think they're the greater population, but I think it's just more than what they're willing to admit. And literally, however, so that's like 17 people. 1 out of 6 would be 17, and that's just one little stat I saw. Then I seen somewhere where it was like the amount of narcissists in our population is less than 6%. Less than 6%. So then that kind of like, destroys that study, and that said 1 out of 6 people. But when you're looking at statistics, you have to be careful. You have to know what you're looking at. If you just read the numbers and you don't dissect the statement, then you're not really paying attention in statistics. You have to look at the language of the actual statement, not just the number. This is where reading is fundamental, and comprehension, not fluency. A lot of people have fluency. A lot of people don't realize like not say financial. You need financial literacy too. But like literacy rates, being illiterate, isn't just because people aren't able to read things on the paper. Some people do have that deficit where they can't even do fluency. But there are people who read fluently, but they don't understand what the fuck they're reading. They lack reading comprehension because they don't understand the language. They don't understand the language. They don't understand the language. You could be a horrible speller and understand the language. I watch that with my daughter every day. She has a deficit in spelling, but the girl has a vocabulary bank out of this world. Very far advanced in her comprehension and her vocabulary. She's just not good at spelling, and it is so weird to watch because it's like, well, how do you get a deficit right here? And it is a deficit that she has no desire to fucking like bump up. And I'd be like, you know, that's okay, that's your weakness, but you're supposed to make it strong. She has no desire, no matter what I do, no matter what I did. Even as a young child, she was just like, that's not what I give a fuck about. Like, and she wouldn't say it like that, but it would never, it never clicked for her. It never was her interest to know how to spell it. But baby, if you could tell her a word, she might not even know what it is, but like, she might not, when I say she might not know what it is, she might not have never heard that word before, but I bet you 9 times out of 10 she could tell you what that word means. There is a lot of people who know words, but they don't know the meaning. There are some people who know how to spell the words, but they don't know the meanings, because some words have multiple meanings. And you have to use context clues. You have to dig deeper in what they are saying. So you have to pay attention on how they're writing statistics. So if they have a statistics that states that less than 6% of the population is diagnosed with fully NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Diagnose is a key word. Diagnose. Just because someone hasn't been diagnosed does not disqualify them from being narcissistic. So just because they haven't been diagnosed, that doesn't mean they are disqualified at being narcissistic. What that means is that they haven't came in and gotten any diagnosis. Or because there is a deficit in therapists and psychologists who literally really are well versed. I feel like more people who have been in those experiences are more well versed on narcissistic, behaviors than a person who has been clinically trained but has not dealt with or experienced that type of behavior in close relationships. We're not talking about them experiencing it, in a small scale, maybe in their workplace. I mean, in close partnerships. If you have not experienced it in certain close partnerships, you are likely to miss that person that may walk in your office and be narcissistic. That person that walks in your office, if they are not, if they're grandiose or overt, they're easy to spot. But if they're a covert, you will miss them every time. So a lot of these people are going undiagnosed. Hey, it's a butterfly. Really, right here. So it was cute. All right, but a lot of those people are going undiagnosed. You literally probably have someone in your life that is narcissistic, covert. Overts, like I said, overts are easy to spot. They just so fucking grandiose that they can't even help themselves. It's all about them so much they can't even help themselves. Covert, literally are gonna have, those are those ones that literally it's gonna be hard to spot because they can have those normal social cues of caring for people, doing things for people, but it comes with manipulation and control. It comes with manipulation and control. It comes with being the victim. It spins you. It makes you feel like, am I really the problem? And it's like, literally, it be them. But I'm going to tell you like this. There is no fucking way in this world you can go through long-term abuse and not have tendencies like your abusers. Like, you are going to pick up some type of tendencies, and that's why a lot of us do have narcissistic tendencies. We're not perfect people, so those tendencies are going to show up in any of us. However, I would say not everybody is full-blown narcissistic, but I do feel like the numbers are off, and they're doing us a disservice as a people. We all should be teaching our children and just teaching everybody how to spot a narcissist, because that's the behavior of evil and we don't really want that behavior to persist. And I don't give a fuck who I offend that's narcissistic. If you feel some type of way, do better, bitch. I've been evil. I can be evil right now. I'm being mean is not necessarily being evil. That's another thing I want to say. But I could be evil. We all have the capacity to be evil. So if you offended, if you feel triggered in any fucking kind of way, I would say go do your work. Go do your work. Go do your work. I stand 10 toes on what the fuck I'm saying. Literally, I have had, not only have I had narcissistic behavior, I still do have narcissistic tendencies that I am working on actively. And when we say we're going to heal and you're on a healing journey, when you go through years of extreme abuse, it is so very important that you heal you return to your core, because you have been in a toxic environment, and there's no way you're gonna sit here and try to act like you don't have certain behaviors that need to be worked out that was caused by trauma. So literally, do the healing work. You do gotta go through a part of being the victim. It is stages to healing. You gotta place blame where blame needs to be, and then when it's your time, and when you are strong enough, and when you're at a point of not wanting to be the victim anymore, because being a victim definitely does allow loops of it to keep happening again. So you do want to come out of that space when you're ready. It is levels and phases to healing. And so some people are constantly taking the blame, and so they never get to be in the victimhood space. And then when they do get to be in the victimhood space, they don't realize that, like, literally, yes, you gotta place blame, yes, you gotta say who did what, how they did it, but you also gotta break the cycle of allowing that same type of people. And it's not just people, it is literally, you are allowing those type of spirits and those type of energies to enter your life on a close level. That's kind of why I kind of wanted to talk about this, is because, like, we literally don't realize that, yes, we have to be kind to everyone regardless when we first meet them. I think that should be a baseline. Just start with kindness, start with love. However, once a person show you what the fuck really is going on, by no means do you have to allow that to be in your close interpersonal relationships. You can meet those people. You can end your assignment with them at any time. I call it, that's your assignment. If that's your mission, that's your assignment. You can end that assignment the moment that it becomes too unhealthy for you. Carry on. God will send them somebody else. But stop allowing that to be who you have in your circle. One of the things I learned on this journey is that I had too many fucked up people in my circle just for the strength of tolerating people, even though I know, like, me and you are not equally yoked, me and you are not really aligned. A lot of the shit we have in common is fucking surface level. I actually have to dumb myself down just to be around you. And we really have to normalize that, like, it's okay. It's okay for someone not to be on your level. And that doesn't mean just because somebody isn't on your level intellectually, they're not beneficial and can't be in your close circle. I'm talking behavior. I'm talking about destructive fucking behavior. Stop allowing people who sabotage you, sabotage themselves. I was a self-sabotager. So to have me in your close circle, if I'm willing to sabotage myself, then I'm going to sabotage you maybe along the way, because I don't even realize I am sabotaging myself, which in turns, if I sabotage myself, I am allowing things to infiltrate my system that would in turn, tear your system down. And so, like, we have to normalize having boundaries and saying, shit, like, you got to get yourself together before you can be in my inner circle. or that's for people that you actually do really care about and do want in your life, because everybody does have, like, their phases and shit they gotta go through. And so it's okay if they love you and you love them. Like, they gonna understand and they gonna get their shit together. Now, other people, on the other hand, if they are not willing to see that they have things they need to work on and they need to change, literally, you can't change anybody. Stop allowing these people to be in your close circles just because of labels, just because of longevity. Just because that person was your friend since kindergarten don't mean that they're supposed to be your friend in close contact now. Release them. Release them. And but yeah, like, I really do think we need to start teaching our children, teaching ourselves, educating ourselves, and applying the knowledge of how to spot narcissism, how to spot narcissistic people, like full-blown motherfucking possessed people. If a person isn't aware that they're a narcissist, literally, are they willing to go get help? Are they willing to go get help? They don't even think anything is wrong with them. They will tell you nothing is wrong with them, but tell you everything that's wrong with you. Literally. They will think nothing is wrong with them. They're not the ones who are literally, if they are going to get therapy, it is for manipulation. It's a manipulation tactic. And I'm not saying that, I'm not even one of the people that feel like, all narcissistic people can't change. I kind of, from a spiritual aspect, and take it out of psychology, because it's departments to this stuff. So to look at it as a spiritual aspect, I look at it as like you're full-blown possessed. Like, you have the least amount of control over yourself. So you don't even, things are happening. You be like, oh, that didn't happen, like, because you weren't there. you wasn't in control. Like, you wasn't in control, so you don't know. You don't know. That spirit was in control of you. and you don't get excused from that. You really don't get excused from that. And so a lot of them don't even realize that something is wrong. A lot of them just have created, like, facades that, like, literally they do no wrong. If you look at narcissists and empaths, they're bred from the same origin stories. It's extreme abuse. And then people like to romanticize empaths that are unhealed, and they like to demonize the narcissist unhealed. One and the same. Two extremes. One went through extreme abuse. I don't want anybody else to have to go through the extreme abuse that I went through and feel not loved, not supported, not cared for. And so they extremely sacrifice themselves at the expense of helping others. So literally, if you look at that from a healthy standpoint, they are detrimental to themselves. They would literally give all of themselves away to everyone else, instead of realizing that, hey, look, you were meant to be your own savior in this situation. You were going through these things so that you could be your own savior, your own leader, your own voice of reason and sound in this situation. Whereas you got the other one who said, I done been through all this fucked up shit. I ain't never let nobody hurt me again. You'll never do it to me again. I will get you before you get me. And it's like, literally, they have extreme protector spirits who have came in. Some who wish to create and wreak havoc on everybody, but it's like this extreme defense mechanism to allow them to have their way, allow them to have it their way, so that they never have to deal with the hurt and the pain that they experienced as a young child or whatever. And so you're dealing with two extremes to me. This one, unchecked, is going to be so sacrificial that they're going to allow any and everything to destroy them, and they're also going to be single-handedly responsible for destroying themselves. This one is literally saying, you know what, fuck it, never let it happen to me again. So I'm gonna be the bad guy that was the bad guy to me, not realizing that's what they doing. It's on some, if you can't beat them, join them. and so both need help. both need skill sets and healing and nurturing and all that stuff. So I literally say the more that you don't allow that type of behavior to show up around you and feed off of you, breed off of you, all that shit, like, you're literally forcing its hand. So let's stop acting like and pretending like narcissists are rare occurrence. We all have definitely growing up in America. I can't speak to growing up anywhere else, but growing up in America, we have experienced extreme abuse. I'm gonna have to pause and let my dog go in because she's getting hot, and I'm gonna stay out here. I need some sun. So I'm back. But yeah, and when I look at statistics, like, literally, yes, you have to pay attention to the wording. If your statistics are as honest as your sample size, it's as honest as the people who are recording the data, it's as honest as your society. If your society is not reporting, if your society definitely dealing with narcissistic abuse, if they're usually not gonna go in and say, I need help. That's usual. You do have outlier situations where literally somebody can have a great awakening and literally say, hey, look, I need help. But on usual, they're not going in there saying, I need help. Even when they do enter their offices, usually, like I said, it is out of manipulation. It is out of, I want to get a relationship back. That, like, maybe they told me if I had to go to therapy, just so that they could come back. It's usually used out of manipulation. So they're rarely diagnosed. Rarely do you even see them proclaiming to be narcissistic. So it's just literally, I be laughing at that because, like, literally, they normally are not going to come in for those types of services. It would usually be extreme cases where literally, like, they're being forced to be evaluated. So be careful with statistics. Like I said, statistics is as honest as how it's being reported. It's as honest as your sample size. Your sample size, statistics is a generalization. It cannot gather data on the whole population. Even what they're doing now, like where they're collecting our data through everything that we do, it's still skewed. Definitely when you're dealing with a person like me, you can never really receive my true raw data because I don't show up like on this fucking app, like doing everything that I do in real life on this app. So like you can track my shopping data and you can do all that shit, like, but it's not going to be completely accurate. You're lacking the data of what I might buy in cash. You're lacking the data of a lot of different things when I think of that. So like, it's like data, literally, when you're looking at larger populations, really, really, you got to be careful with it. It's a generalization. Your sample size literally is what you're looking at, and then you're using that sample size of people, and then you're saying that this is a average, this is a mean, to the whole spiel. So literally, I wanted to come do that video. Please, please, please be aware. Honor your gut feelings when you're dealing with people. Like I said, even if you trust the 1 out of 6 people, if I had a 1 out of 6 chance of hitting the lottery, I would say that's a big chance. That's a big chance. A 1 out of 6 chance of hitting the lottery, I would take that. And that's how I literally, one of my sociology teachers taught us that, like, when we were looking at, like, I actually took stat classes, and I liked it, but I didn't like it because of the fact that this is looking at a pool of people. It's not looking at everybody. And who did you pick? how diverse was the group of people did you pick? And so, like, literally, like I said, that data is as honest as the people conducting the, data, gathering the information, looking at it, observing it, and it's as honest as the people, the sample size. And then it's as honest as how many people are honest and report actually what's going on. So, literally. But yeah, I had a sociology teacher who literally put data into a context that, like, I didn't think of it that way. But, like, she was like, if you had a 1 out of 6 chance of, winning the lottery, because sometimes we hear these numbers and, like, 1 out of every 4 people have herpes. Literally, that's a lot. And that, once again, is about who is reporting it. So if you're asymptomatic and you never went in there to get tested, then, and they don't require testing, you have to request this testing, their data is skewed. So it's probably far more than 1 out of 4. But if you looked at 1 out of 4 as you were going to get something, you would say, oh, that's a pretty good chance of something. That's a pretty high number. That's 25% chance that I would get something. 1 out of 6. 1 out of 6, that's a 17% chance I'll get something. Roughly, it's like 1.666699, whatever. But that's like roughly, a 17% chance I'll get something. So if you looked at it in my lottery, like, oh, I had a 25% chance of winning the lottery, like, you would play the lottery, right? And so we still have to look at these statistics. Like, God keep trying to act like numbers be long. Numbers is off. That's first of all. The numbers is off. And then second of all, you really, if it was something you wanted, you look at it like, oh, I got a chance at this. Now, some said I got a 1%, or 0.00001%. Like, like, that's rare to me. That's rare, buddy. That's some rare shit. But y'all be calling rare some shit that is prevalent. You just live in an unhonest society, where evil has been able to hide under group identifiers, under labels like gender, religion, titles. I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm privileged. Like, literally, it makes me sick. To even the standards of, like, I always think of, like, mother or father, like, some of you should be ashamed of yourselves. But aunt to uncle, like, these titles are allowing evil to hide and run rampant. And we literally have to do a better job at educating ourselves and our children on how to spot evil behavior, how to identify whether this person is for a season or if they are meant to be in your life. I never had that taught to me. It was spoken, don't let nobody mistreat you, but it was actually taught to me by actions, and by what I saw, that literally, if it's family, it's okay if they abuse you. You're supposed to forgive your family and allow them to do it again. Forgiveness was taught as allow them to do it again. That's not forgiveness. You can forgive and you can carry the fuck on. A lot of people are in narcissistic relationships with their parents and their family members and friends, and society is not viewing that as domestic violence. Unless sometimes it get called in. But, like, when those people need help for shelter or to move, or to get out of that situation, they don't it's no help right there provided for that type of relationships. It is only seen as woman versus man, and literally there is help more on that end, and it still needs work. But there are men who are abused by women in narcissistic abuse relationships. There are no major male facing shelters for that. There are no shelters, you know, just for people who are experiencing their parents being abusive. And I mean, as minors, like, they literally do have, you know, that system that may be even worse than your parent. um I'm talking about child protective service. But once you get grown, like, let's say you are in high school, you 17, you 18, and they don't have it specifically for you, a place for you to transition to get help. It's not a lot of places that recognize this type of abuse, when really it does start at home in most cases. Not all, but most cases it starts from childhood. And from childhood you choose to pick these relationships over and over again because it's your norm. And we really do got to do a better job at acknowledging that. And so I'm in that video.